Right, so welcome to another vlog for FORmE. Today I'm going to be a little bit more strict with the structure of this. I'm going to talk about the process behind the business, and I'm going to talk more predominantly about Supacolor, a business that I've found through lots of research into different print methods. I found a company called Supacolor. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons. I'm going to talk about how to order with them, pricing, and I'm also going to talk about the process of actually printing and the quality. What I will do in the future is do a full review on Supacolor and show you how you can stretch it, how you can rip it, and the design stay the same. We'll go further into that. Another point, basically when I was setting up FORmE clothing, it's a kind of like a print on demand service what I'm offering at the moment. So people put an order in on the website and I'll actually print it here in house on demand. I'm also doing some custom orders, so that gives me the option to do that. I wanted to set up a high-end luxury streetwear brand, but I wanted it to be unique, so I wanted small order quantities. When I looked into things like screen printing, to get the price right, you're talking at least a minimum of 100 of each design. I didn't want that many of each design going out at the beginning because I want to keep it unique, I want to keep it limited. So I looked into printing my own screen printing setup, and it was the amount of space it would have took, the amount of equipment it would have took, the amount of money it would have took to set up. It was too much basically, and too much of a process time wise for me to be able to do. I looked into direct to garment, which would have meant buying a direct to garment printer, which is quite large again, and it's very expensive and it's quite in-depth technology. I didn't really want to get into that. Then I started to look into heat transfers, so I could buy a cutter, buy heat transfer material, run that through and it cut it out. You had to then pick all the transfer off. It was another big long process that I just basically wouldn't have had time to do. And then I came across a company called Supacolor. It's awesome. The quality is really good. I've never been so confident about a quality of garments that I've been sending out because of this Supacolor. And also there's another one called Target Transfers that I've been using. They've got some pros and cons, and same with Supacolor, which I'll go through. Probably go through them on a different video actually, but for today I'll talk about Supacolor. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'll talk you through this. I mean, this is a tiny office I've got set up at the moment, and I'll talk you through the way I've got it all set up and the way that the production line works. And I'm also going to talk you through how to order Supacolor, because it's a little bit tricky on the website when you first start, but it's dead easy after you've got the hang of it. And then I'll talk you through the process of the printing. I'll talk you through the process how I've got this place set up, how I pick the garment, how I pick the design, how I print it on the press. Right, so let's talk you through the process of how I get the design into Supacolor, and then I'll show you how they arrive on my door. Right, so I'm trying to figure out the best way of showing you how I do this, but first of all, I'm not going to go fully into depth about Illustrator because I'm no expert on Illustrator, to be totally honest with you. What I did, I spent one night on YouTube learning how to use Adobe Illustrator on my iPad. So if you've got the time, just get on YouTube and learn a little bit about Adobe Illustrator. It's way easier. So I've got this design. Basically what I'll do is I'll go, when I first start this, I'll put a custom size sheet down, and I'll do it exactly the same size that Supacolor offer the prints in. So Supacolor offer an A4 print, so I've squeezed as much as I possibly can into an A4 print to get the maximum for my money basically with this. I mean, there's another thing that I want to go down in the future which to with you is about gang sheets, but Supacolor don't accept gang sheets at the moment. So for gang sheets I use for gang sheets I use Target Transfers, which is these. But I'm in the process of talking to Supacolor about trying to get them to do gang sheets for me. Basically a gang sheet is where you get as many designs as possible onto one sheet to save money. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different designs on one sheet A4. You pay about £2.40 for an A4 sheet from Supacolor. If I can split them down, that means I'm ending up paying about 50p, probably less. I'm not good at maths, but X amount for each design, which brings down the price of each garment, makes your profits higher. But for now we're talking about this big design. This is one big design A4 that goes on the front of white t-shirts, I'll show you one of them later. I will just drop it in actually on the video, and I just try and get the most I can out of the A4 sheet. So that's the design. Right, so from design, what I'll do then is I'll save this to, so publish and export, and export as, I save it as a PNG and export it to my files, which is already there, so I don't need to do that. Then I go on the internet, go search for www.supa, so S-U-P-A, colour spelt with a U because it's the English version, so Supacolor, and then log in. Should have my details saved, and then I've got add new job. Basically comes up with these details, which is my address. So you've got purchase order number, and I only put 01 there. In fact, so you have to select this first, how you want it to ship. I usually use DHL. Purchase order number, job description, you can put anything you want. Job comment, anything you want. It depends if you've got specific things that you want to tell the printers. And then add new transfer. This is where the pricing comes in. So we're going to pick, see where it says WE-A4 wearable, that's for clothing, and that's an A4 sheet. So I'm going to click on the A4 sheet. Description, you can put a random description in there of what your design is. On that is what colour garments you're printing it on. I usually put white cotton, that's what this is, design's going on, white cotton. The colours, I never put that in. They've never asked me for anything of that. I don't really know much about CYMK, PMS stuff, so I don't even bother using it. In here I'll just put 210 by 300, price code is already set, and then here, see if I can get rid of this, in here is where you need to put your amount. So let's say 20. A minimum order is 20. If you ordered 20 of those Chester prints, you'd be looking at, so a minimum order of 20. So if you ordered 20 of those Chester prints, you'd be paying £4.22 per A4 sheet, which adds quite a lot of money onto your garments if you're only ordering 20. But if you're doing that full colour, if you're doing a full colour A4 design on a t-shirt and you was doing it through screen printing, you'd be paying for 4 or 5, depending on how many colours there is, 4 or 5 different screen prints to be set up. And then you'd be talking a minimum order of maybe 100 of those to get the price right. Whereas this, you can order 20, they can be sat in the, this only cost £84, remember, they can be sat in the drawer. If nobody ever buys that design off the website, you've only lost £84. You've not paid for 100 garments to be printed and have them sat here waiting. I've just basically got blank garments and designs separately, so when the order comes through I then print it, and if they never get ordered because it was a bit bad design that I did, I've only lost a maximum of like £85. So that's how I test the design out. When it starts doing well, I'll go up. So generally, if a design is doing well, I'll go to 100. And if you go to 100, oh, not 1020, get rid of that too. If you go to 100, it brings the price right down to £2.14 per design, which is way more affordable. Then you'll click here where it says upload art. I'll go into browse because it's in my folders. There's Chester, artwork's added, and then you create the job. I don't want to press that because I don't need to order anymore at the moment, and that creates the job, and then you go to the paying process, which is dead easy. That's how you order a design on Supacolor. So what I'm going to do now is show you. This is how they'll arrive on your doorstep. Well, they won't, they'll arrive in a box, but obviously like this inside. On here, they actually used to have, when I first started using these, they used to have the printing instructions on the label. They've stopped doing that for some reason. You go to the website and you can get the printing instructions, but I've ended up using my own anyway, my own pressure, my own temperature, through lots of trialing and messing things up. I've found a much smoother system, I think, which I'll talk you through that as well. If you get any mistakes on these, it's a bit of a nightmare. It can ruin the whole garment, and because I'm using high-end quality materials, each garment is costing me a fortune, and every time I ruin one, I can't just throw it away. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing when I do ruin one also. That's a minimum order of 20. So if you want to reorder these, so when these start selling really well and you want to reorder, you need to keep hold of this, because you scan that and it takes you straight to the page to reorder. Just makes things a lot easier, that scan code there. Right, so I'm going to talk through the process of how I've got the office set up. So here's my design station and the workstation for my laptop. I'll get here a design that's come through, click on the design, one of the designs that needs printing. I've got 3 Amigos black t-shirt that needs printing there. So what I'll do, I'll get that up because I like to see the design because I'm going to print it now. So I need to find vintage black t-shirt, I need to find the Free Amigos full colour design, I need to find the full colour smiley, and I need to obviously put a neck label in. So what I do next is head over to this wall and find, I mean these are going to have to be organised a little bit better at the moment. They're a little bit all over the shop, but there should be medium black on all this shorts. Medium black vintage tee here, it goes here. I'll then go through these drawers and find the design. Right, so pull out the Free Amigos colour design, find the colour smiley, which could be, this needs organising better like the rest of my life, but one day I will get organised. Right, full colour smiley that matches the colours that's on the writing, that goes on the sleeve. And then I've got these. Now these I bought, this is what I was talking about before, about using target transfers for gang sheets. Right, so the difference between target transfer and these is I think the black on target transfers is not quite as sharp. It's a little bit more washed out. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on this video, but it's got a bit more of a vintage effect, which looks nice on the inside neck label. But on the design I wanted it sharp black, and Supacolor is much more sharper black than target transfers. What I've found so far, I'm going to speak to them about that actually. But that's one of the designs that I use from Supacolor, and the black it just seems to be much sharper. So that's that set up there. I'll pull this out of the bag. I have a bin underneath the heat press that's set side of me here, so everything's efficient. Goes straight in the bin there. T-shirt gets lined up here, and then we'll head over to the heat press, which is not warm enough yet. So obviously the process problems can happen. So what I found recently is I had these cut out, and what I did, I cut them out quite close to the design, which gave me no space for peeling. So what happened a few times is, because they were so hot after the press, you've got to peel them fast. You're trying to get in quick and it's burning your fingers, and it starts to cool down. You actually get in, and sometimes you can pull up a bit of a design. Now that's a perfect one. That's one that's gone really well. Yeah, this one, as you can see, has got its own custom design on, because I messed up on this. You'll see if you zoom in fact, get that camera a little bit closer. If you zoom into the O, I messed the O up. As I was peeling it, I think I ripped part of the O. You can see there's a little bit of a misshape there. What I had to do is get another design, another one of these. I had to cut out part of the O that had messed up, put it perfectly in place, heat press it, but it never lines up perfectly. So what I actually did was cut out a smiley, heat transfer a bit of a smiley, and then free-handed with my acrylic pens, fabric pens, a new design, and I sell that as a custom design. You don't want to waste a full awesome garment just because of a bit of a mistake. Just make it a custom design. When I first started with FORmE, I had a hand press, and I've ended up buying this, which is like an absolute lifesaver. But it doesn't mean you need one of these, it just means that it's just a million times better. The hand press still works with Supacolor. I'll tell you how to set up the hand press actually. Basically, my old hand press, you want a medium to firm pressure. So to set that, wind on the top of your hand press, you'll have a dial at the back. Wind it all the way down so you cannot close it, and then just slowly wind it back until you can just about close it, and then a half a turn. That'll give you medium pressure. And then I set it at 160 degrees C. They're talking degrees Fahrenheit, I think, but I do 160 degrees C on here, which will be the same on your hand press. Set it to 160 degrees C, which I suggest. I've got this set at 51 psi. That's the beauty of this. Is see this is an air compressor, this joint to an air compressor in the other room, and I can set exact amounts of pressure, perfect timing and perfect temperature on this. These are the settings here that I use for Supacolor. Obviously you've got there Supacolor, and then if I go into my settings, I've got target transfers, which are cold peel, which I'll talk about in a second. There's a difference between cold peel and hot peel, but I've got Supacolor hot peel settings set as that, and I found that works the best. So here's the process. So I take off, this thing's got an automatic swing, but I like to take it off because it slows things down. Another beauty of this is you can actually thread the t-shirt on, stack it on like that. The beauty of this is I can just thread it through, and I feel like it gets me much more accurate placement. So I set that in there. I'll grab the both of the creases at the same point, pull it back evenly till this seam drops over, because what you want as much as possible is a flat surface under the press, because you want full pressure on every angle of the design. So that's lined up nice and straight. First thing you do before you put the design on is a 5 second. So I've got two settings on here. Setting number 1 is 5 seconds at the same pressure. 5 seconds. That's a pre-press. That's to get any moisture out of the garment. So I've just done the pre-press. You'll see a bit of steam sometimes come out of these. That's to get any moisture out of the garment. It's really important to get the moisture out so the design sticks properly, and you get, basically it'll still go on if you've got the moisture in the garment, it just won't last as long on the garment. I mean, this is tested over like 70 washes, which is more than good enough for any design. And I feel like the quality is way better than screen printing. I think this will eventually take over screen printing. I can't see screen printing lasting compared to these water-based heat transfers. I just can't see it. Right, so line this up nice and straight. That. Close this again. So now I've got the second setting, 15 seconds. Now Supacolor normally says, I'm sure it says 10 or 12 seconds. I go 15. I feel like it just works a lot better. Double press. I've got 15 seconds with the heat on. Right, fast. This has got to be done fast and confident. Yeah, they've got to go into that. If you start messing around with these and you start just messing and start trying to peel them, you can completely mess it up. So once you've got this, once this lift up gets out of the way, that's why I took the auto open off. So once that comes up, I've turned the auto open off so I can push out of the way quick, get the corner, and the idea is to peel fast and low. So I peel and try and keep, so if that's down, I peel like that, almost run my hand along the t-shirt to peel it off, and as low as possible and as fast as possible to get the perfect design. Always do, I think, they don't suggest this, but I think always do a second press for another, sorry, well, this is actually a third press, I suppose, isn't it? But a second press on the design for 5 seconds. Black edge on there, how smooth it is, that's because of the second press, so that's really important. Well, the third press, second press, whatever. So that's that design done. And then I've got this box set up here at the side of the heat press because I like to do the sleeves and it's hard to do without it resting on something. Same again, you want as little, basically, right, so when this comes down, you want full pressure on your design. And if you've got seams like this or like this, when this pressure comes down, most of the pressure will be into the seams and not onto the design. So I knock as many seams as I can off the plate, but where you can't get the seam off, I use one of these. So it's a foam pad. So with this foam pad, I put it inside the sleeve, off the seam, and place it like that. So I'll do my pre-press. I'll show you. 5 second pre-press. What I need to do is put another setting on here actually for 5 seconds, which 5 second pre-press. So you can see where the pad is there. It's off the seam, so full pressure is in that area. So when I put the design on now, the smiley face, remember the smiley face is always facing the wearer on my designs. So if you see this one, it's looking up at me when I see it, it reminds me to smile. So what I do is I'll angle them like that, looking up at the wearer. It's just a little quirk of the business, keep you smiling. And then 15 seconds again, and then fast, low peel. You'll see what I do. So grab the edge, fast low peel. Confidence, it's really important to have confidence with these peels. You start messing around with it, you can mess it up. And then that's the sleeve and the centre design done. You see the sleeve there, centre design, and then what I'll do, turn them inside out for the inside neck label. Now like I said, these are from Target transfers. So what I do with these is, these are cold peel. So you've got to press it on, leave it in place, let it cool down. I've found that this is not, I prefer the hot peel because it's so much more efficient. Whereas this takes a little bit longer because you're having to let them cool down, and you're not really supposed to move it until it's cooled down a bit. I'll show you why. So you put that there, lined up, so obviously you can see no seams are on the press. Line that up central, back of the neck. See where it says built for you? I like that. That's when there's only you sees it, so it's built for you. Sorry, I need to do a pre-press, forgot to do a pre-press. But that's the good thing about these settings as well, it reminds me to do a pre-press, because it's very important, but it's really easy to forget. Pre-press, any moisture taken out. See the steam? That's just really important to get that out. I don't know if it will be on the camera or not, but it steams. Any moisture out of the garment makes these seal on a lot better. And then 15 seconds. Press. Same with these. I mean, I've got these settings way higher than Target Transfer, so I've just found that it works really well. So it's just a lot of experimenting. I found this works best for me. Right, now I've got to let that cool down. If I take this garment off and move it, the seal starts to break on the edges. I don't want to move it because I don't want to ruin this t-shirt, but you just can't really move it, so obviously that slows your production down a lot. So the hot peel for me are much more efficient, but like I said, Supacolor don't actually offer a gang sheets yet. As soon as I'm hopefully in negotiations with them to try and get gang sheets from Supacolor. If I can get gang sheets from Supacolor, I'll use Supacolor for everything, and it'll be a lot more efficient of a business. But let's let that cool down. So I give it 4 or 5 seconds, and then I'll start to move it as it starts to set, because obviously it cools down faster off the press because there's still a bit of temperature in this. It cools down faster over here. Always try and keep the whole place as tidy as possible, which this place never is, especially when we're doing a video. And now what I'm going to do is show you through the process of packing one of these designs. It's got nothing to do with Supacolor, I'll show you anyway. Right, so once this is cooled down, basically it's just a quick whip off. And I feel like these are better. I feel more confident when I'm peeling these. I've never had a bad one with these, because you let it cool down, you know it's stuck down. Whereas Supacolor, you do get mistakes. This is this is the most stressful part of my whole process of setting these up. So I've got these tags that I use some ribbon, and then I'll put it through the size thing. This is a nightmare as well. You feed that through there. This is the slowest part, which I'm gonna refine all this. I need to find a better process of doing this. I'm sure there's a much better system for tagging these. I can buy a tag gun or something. But basically I just tie a little knot in this ribbon. It takes me about 4 hours each one. Come on. This honestly, this is the longest part of the whole process, just putting a tag on. I don't even know if it's worth it. Right, tags on. Normally I use black, but I've run out of black ribbon. And then I will actually generally make the process even longer, because I like it to be nice and tidy. I trim off any excess, what is this? Just to make it look a little tidier. That's the tag on. This thing here, Box Legend, honestly this is my favourite part of the whole process. It just saves me so much time. So you line this up. I'm sure you've seen these before, the t-shirt folders. So you line this up, collar at the top, sleeves, I like to fold the sleeves right on the seam. You fold the bottom on level with the bottom, like that, tidy. And then fold the sides over, get rid of that, where that's come from. Bottom over, and you get a nice perfect little fold. That's my favourite part of the whole process. There's that. And then, so after it's been folded, I grab a bag from behind me here. In there. Drop that in. Folded as nice and tidy as possible. Squeeze the air out. The beauty of these bags, got a little air hole in, so you get all the air out. In there. Fold it in some nice custom tissue paper. Inside a nice custom box. I am going to eventually get some smaller boxes, but to save money to start with, I bought a box big enough to get a hoodie, t-shirt, shorts, so I need a load of different boxes, but in the future I will buy some smaller ones for t-shirts. But that's what they all come in at the moment, and that's it. Bagged up, shipped out, job done. Basically that's how I use Supacolor and target transfers at the moment. I'm going to try and speak to both companies and figure out which one I can solely use. I'd like to just use one, keep it all in one house, keep it all simple. There's a couple of problems with Supacolor, like the fact that they don't do gang sheets. The quality is way better. I've had more mistakes with the Supacolor because of the hot peel, but that was more about me getting my settings right and my machine right. So do a lot of experimenting with Supacolor at the beginning, and don't use. I went to Tesco's, bought some really cheap Tesco's cotton t-shirts which cost me about £1 each from Tesco's, and I printed them and messed a lot of them up first, and then I started printing on garments, and still I've made quite a few mistakes on good garments which I've had to customise, which is like the one that I showed you. For me, Supacolor is the better quality of product, but target transfers is the best for making it more practical money wise, whereas you can gang sheet and you can get a lot more for your money. So if I can put 20 designs on one A3 sheet, the A3 sheets cost me about £5 or £6, and then you've got 20 designs on there. Obviously it's costing you pence per design, rather than, whereas Supacolor, they won't accept any gang sheets at the moment, which I have actually had gang sheets from Supacolor, and we're still in the process of deciding if that's going to go ahead or not. But if they do, I'll definitely use Supacolor. If they don't, I'll definitely just be using target transfers. So you'll see that in the upcoming videos. As I hit my reviews on Supacolor and target transfer, not so much a review, more about how to use Supacolor and target transfers. I'll do a separate video on target transfers possibly, show you the process of them. It's very much similar setup as Supacolor, to be honest. Thanks very much for watching another video by FORmE Apparel. If you want to check out the clothing that we do, it's www.formeuk.com. Thank you very much.